the impact Ozempic is having. Walmart was the first to mention that we are seeing in the snack section a change in behavior. I can't imagine Mounjaro and whatever the hell it's called and Ozempic and Wegovy are not having an impact on all these restaurants. There's nearly 20 million people on this stuff. 90% of those 20 million were truly obese. These are people that overate eating snacks, sodas, fast food. Those 20 million people who are on Ozempic, how much money do you think they're spending less a week on food?
So I would say the median is probably $30.
Okay, 20 million people, $30. $600 million a week. That's $30 billion a year.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, Cathys, we are back. Number one podcast in the world. Let's talk Olympics.
We're in a dogfight right now, live.
As we were recording, USA is playing Serbia.
In basketball.
In basketball, they're down by 9 points in the third quarter right now. So we'll keep you updated. You'll obviously know the end result of the game by the time you listen. The other exciting things that are happening in Olympics, USA track and field has been blockbuster, especially in long distance running. There's been a couple really fun races on the men's and women's side that have been really, really great. The medal count, for those of you that have been following, USA is just absolutely dominating in everything. Even gold medals where I think people thought they were falling behind. I knew once track kicked in, we didn't have to worry about China too much.
The women's track has been for the Americans. I watched some like 400 meter hurdle, and I don't know the woman's name, but she was like 20 meters ahead of
Sydney.
the next.
She's like the world's best.
Okay, maybe it was her, but she's like
the face of Nike.
She was so far ahead of everyone.
Yeah, she's like the world's best.
I thought it was Shakar.
That's not on the hurdle.
Oh.
Hurdle. She was in the 100.
Did you watch the Noah Lyles 200 meter?
I watched, no, but it was today, and I know he got the bronze, and he has COVID.
Yeah, it was interesting because he came out, he was the last person because he's obviously the star.
Yeah.
And he came out so hyped. He was jumping up and down because they introduced each athlete.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, don't you want to conserve your energy? You have literally 20 seconds. To run, and you're jumping up and down, and then he literally looked like he was going to die after the race.
Yeah, so it's reported now that he had COVID 2 days ago. Look, I think I'm glad he ran it and didn't use COVID as an excuse, because I
just think he should have walked out.
Yeah, but he knows he's a showman.
Yeah,
and you when you're a high performance athlete like that, you think you're Superman, and he gave what the people wanted in the intro, and then unfortunately did not deliver. I mean, the bronze for him must be so disappointing.
Yeah, so he had 2 golds and a bronze to finish off. Because the team.
Oh, the relay.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, he kind of, if he had gotten the gold, he would have been the undisputed kind of star of the Olympics for the Americans. And then the French swimmer would probably be the biggest star for the whole Olympics.
Yeah.
And so, Simone Biles delivered, but then even in her last competition, she got a silver or bronze, right?
Yeah, she lost to the Brazilian girl.
Yeah, it's
tough.
Yeah, what did Michael Phelps do? I feel like he never got no silvers. Did he get silvers?
I think early in his career.
Yeah,
but when he was in his prime,
no,
he was actually. Because he was very humble, I think, during his career.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of like he's not old, but the older statesman of the Olympians.
Yeah.
And he was on Pat McAfee, and he goes, now I can talk my shit. All I do is win.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to forget that.
Yeah, I mean, because now when you look at the rest of the people, they're just not doing what he did.
Yeah.
It's like impossible to do. I mean, it was just like a given. He would race, he would win gold. He would race, he would win gold.
And he had to do multiple meets in a day.
Yeah.
Because some people focus on one of the, 200-meter backstroke or whatever, and he's just winning everything.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
The only thing is, I don't know if, I mean, his last one was 2008, I believe, or was it 12? I forget. The world athletically is just caught up. Like the fact that Serbia is leading Team USA basketball shows you these are the best NBA players on the planet.
Yeah.
Except for
the best
Jokic.
players on Serbia.
Yeah, that's the problem. But the whole world is just caught up athletically. There's better facilities in all these countries.
Yeah.
And they focus on it more than they probably did 20 years ago. So
yeah.
I think the playing field has just been leveled, meaning that you're gonna you're not gonna replicate Michael Phelps. And like, remember Michael Johnson in the 90s?
Yeah. You say that, and then, I don't know. Simone Biles did pretty damn good. She seemed like she dominated everyone. And so I disagree. I think there will be another Michael Phelps and another Simone Biles, and there will be these like superstar athletes that kind of supersede everything. And I think that's what makes it awesome. I think there's also like, even you take the differences between American long distance runners today versus 8 years ago. Some of those races we haven't won in 20 years.
Yeah.
So as much as everyone else has caught up, there's clearly America made some strides in like long distance running. That skinny white guy coming back and winning is like unheard of. Completely unheard of. I think Cole Tucker or whatever his name was. Like you see things like that. And then Quincy Hall yesterday, I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
The guy wasn't even in 5th place.
Did you see they broke down, some photographer broke down every image of the race?
Yeah.
He was so behind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, as much as, because long distance running had basically been given up by Americans. We could never win those. It was always one of the African countries that was winning those races. And now, maybe in basketball they've caught up, but we exceeded in track.
Yeah.
I would say this year we did far better in track than we've done in previous years. So anyways, it's wrapping up this weekend. Olympics are always awesome. And then we get down to football.
Yeah, football.
Hard Knocks is coming out. Came out, I think, the first episode.
Chicago
Bears. You could already feel the NFL college football. I mean, it's funny. I was when I was traveling at the hotel, I turned on the TV and I wanted to see Olympic highlights at the end of the night. Turned on Sports Center, and it was only football. They didn't even talk about the Olympics till the end. It was just like, what's happening in camp? What's happening? Who are the top 10 college players in the country? Who's
holding out? When's Dak Prescott's contract coming?
Yeah.
Is CeeDee Lamb getting paid?
Yeah, I mean, that's all everyone's talking about. They're literally, it's just a level of engagement for football in America. So what's interesting was I was in Bentonville, Arkansas last week. No Kathy's, no one reached out. First time ever where I've been somewhere and I've said where I'm going and no one has reached out. It's pretty fascinating. Don't have an audience amongst the Walmart crowd.
Yeah.
What's interesting is, so I end up meeting a lot of people who live there. Like obviously they work at Walmart, but just in general, like people, the Uber, this, that, the bar. All these people care about is one thing. Guess what they care about? I met with mainly men. So what do you think the men care about?
And Bentonville, Arkansas?
Yeah.
College football?
University of Arkansas, Razorback football.
Yep.
That's it. And they suck.
Mm-hmm.
They're horrible. Every single person I met with has season tickets. Every single person.
I guess there isn't much else to do.
No. But like,
and I'm assuming Walmart employees are paid pretty handsomely.
Oh yeah. They get paid.
And the cost of living is so low.
Yeah.
So you have to spend it somewhere.
Kansas City is actually not that far either. I think it's like a 4-hour drive. I don't know. I forgot. It's pretty far.
So are they Chiefs fans too?
Everyone's a Chiefs fan. So you got Chiefs and the Razorback. At least Chiefs are winning. But like the dedication, and everyone went to University of Arkansas. Walmart, has donated a lot of money to University of Arkansas. A lot of the kids I think if you worked at Walmart, you get some free tuition.
I mean, don't you think that should change, that they suck because of NIL? You have all these rich Walmart people.
Yeah.
Just start paying the players.
That was my thing. I was like, I cannot believe this team is so bad.
Especially because it's legal now.
Yeah.
Like USC just bought a bunch of players this offseason.
Yeah, that's it. We added 1,500 pounds. I saw. Yeah, when you add 5 new guys, you had a lot of weight. I think. Yeah, it's fascinating how important college football is outside of these big cities. Like, because in New York City and LA, college football is irrelevant. No one cares.
Yeah, I mean, I would say outside of USC, I mean, I don't even think people care about UCLA football.
They don't, and I don't even know how many people care about USC football. We care about it.
If we're winning, people care.
Yeah, if we're winning, people care.
But if we lose,
not,
it's not like Arkansas where people would care.
Yeah, they're still going to the game. It's a tailgate. Everyone's committed to.
Once USC sucked, like, a decade ago, everyone stopped going.
Yeah, I mean, even this last year, we had the best player, and halfway through the season, everyone was pretty checked out.
Yeah.
But just like college football is, I think, very undervalued in the importance it plays in American zeitgeist.
I mean, I think that's what people say. If you go to LSU, Baton Rouge, you go to Alabama, you go to all these different schools, you realize how big college football is versus the rest of the country.
Yeah.
And there was always this running joke during COVID lockdowns. If LSU, Alabama played, when this is before everyone knew about the virus and everyone thought it was deadly, it was deadly, but they would say they'd pack 100,000 people.
Yeah.
Like, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's fair. I think what I'm interesting to see now that NIL has really kind of made its way through college football, does it get bigger than just what it is today? I mean, it's huge today. Can it get even bigger? Because it's not a global thing, right? It'll never be because of school allegiance, but like, it's fucking huge. Like, it's such an undervalued. Because like the TV contracts are rich, but like everything else is pretty underappreciated that this many people care about University of Arkansas.
Right.
Who's going to probably have a losing record.
And then you look at all the morning shows every weekend during college football. It's tens of thousands of people.
Yeah. And I mean, like,
and they have to, and the game might not be till 7 p.m. So they come at 6 a.m.
Yeah. And then every local sports, think about every town, sports radio, 3 radio stations dedicated to local sports. I don't know. I'm so bullish on American sports.
Well, I think also because it's one of the few sports that hasn't been penetrated by international players.
Yeah. No immigrants.
You got Samoans, but I guess that's a U.S. territory.
Yeah.
Samoans are covering the O-line.
Yeah.
And then outside of that,
you gotta speak English to play football. You gotta call those plays. Blue 32. If you don't know English, you can't catch a touchdown.
Yeah, I think you underestimate how much American athletes matter for American sports.
Yeah, we are checked out if we don't. Think about like the popularity of Premier League and all these, La Liga and all these like European soccer. Like, they're getting more popular in America, but if there was an American star on one of those teams, be a blockbuster. Like, if there was the equivalent of a Messi, an American player playing in those markets, like, that is basically what that sport is missing to become mania here.
Yeah, I know there's plenty of soccer fans in America, but do you really think European soccer will matter in America?
I think of it as an American player. It's like tennis. People cared when Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi were winning.
Sure, I guess.
And
tennis
is
international.
Not, we only play one big tournament here.
No, there's a whole hardcourt circuit about to start.
But no one cares about them. No one's watching them. Brian's watching him.
He's watching them.
That's it. Who's watching Indian Wells on TV? Fucking no one.
Yeah.
They're just not. They're watching the big majors. And even those are horrible ratings.
Yeah.
Unless it's like, if there's an American in it, it changes dramatically. All right, let's get into some big news. What a roller coaster the global markets have been on since we last talked. So Sunday,
it was doom and gloom.
Doom and gloom, very scary. We did not know what to expect. Bank of Japan comes in, says some nice things Sunday night. Nikkei starts ripping. Nikkei starts ripping. That's the Japanese index. American markets kind of starts a little wonky in the morning. No confidence. Then all of a sudden, I think by like 2-3 hours into the day, people start saying, okay, Japan seems fine. Iran hasn't attacked anyone yet. Let's go see what happens. Market rips. Yesterday, market rips. Today, greatest day in 15 months for the S&P 500.
Right.
And today was the real day where like everything was up, like full green across the board. The big tech cap, kind of big cap tech really came back in a major way. And you saw the NVIDIAs, the Apples, the Googles, the Amazons, which is what this rally has been basically built on, finally get back to normal. There was some economic data. Basically, unemployment data was actually better than expected.
Yeah.
Jobless claims came in less than expected. I think that data is very dangerous because of how important government jobs are intertwined with that. So I don't like that use. The big, to me, I think we are good this week. There isn't that much data that's going to come unless
there's nothing tomorrow.
CPI is next week.
Yeah. Next week, I think, is where you get some roller coaster.
Yeah. So this,
one way or the other.
Yeah. I think the CPI data will really determine, what we will do in the market. Because if that comes in very aggressively hot, then we're back to square one. The shit's going to fall off a cliff again.
Yeah, because this is the last data point before the Fed meets.
Yeah, and the problem is last week, people were calling for emergency rate cut, blah, blah, blah. You have not heard one fucking person this week.
Because the markets are up.
Yeah.
If the market had tanked, they would have called for it.
That's the point. This is why people are out of their mind. The Federal Reserve is not reacting to the stock market. That is not their responsibility. The Federal Reserve has to react to the actual global economy. And the only data that we have seen that says the global economy is weak, GDP was up. Inflation is the biggest problem. That is what, and now we saw credit card, it's at, I think 9 or 10% of credit cards are delinquent, meaning they're past 90 days. We had record credit card debt, 1.1 trillion. So those are the statistics that if I was a Federal Reserve, because a 0.5 point cut helps credit cards overnight.
Yep.
Overnight, you see the impact of that. Everyone.
And mortgages.
Yeah, mortgages. Mortgage rates are down now. The lowest it's been.
15 months.
Yeah. So like, and we were seeing all across the market that home inventory is slowly increasing, but the prices aren't dropping fast enough. And I think unless the interest rates drop, we're not going to get to that point. So all that to be said, markets are ripping today. This whole week they've been ripping, and we've gotten some good momentum back. And I think the overall thesis is if you break down, are there weaknesses in the economy? 100%. But the Fed doesn't look at just one segment of the economy, meaning like we know that low income people are adversely affected by inflation. I don't think anyone's not aware of that. Problem is I don't know if the Fed cares about that because they're looking at the holistic picture and says, GDP went up.
Yeah.
Jobs are still pretty good. But my view hasn't changed just because the market ripped these 3 days. I still believe we're going to enter a recession, a true recession.
Like a true two-quarter GDP contraction?
Yeah, and I think it'll happen next year. I do not think it'll happen this year.
But how? Because unemployment's so low.
I think unemployment will keep creeping up. Like, I don't think it's...
But the numbers that came out today show that...
I don't believe that job data at all. Even if it shows the other way, I don't think it's reflective of what's really happening in the market. How are they accounting for where in the unemployment rate does it account for all of the illegal immigration that has come into the country and taken jobs, right? Like they're taking low income jobs. That has increased the pool of labor, right? And so that has deflationary impact. So that is actually, whether you like it or not, the illegal immigration helps deflate wages in a lot of jobs in this country. So agriculture jobs, fast food workers, that's an opportunity for those folks to maintain a lower wage. So that does actually have a help on the global economy, on the American economy. The problem is I don't understand what all the moving pieces is for this job data, because the other impact where you don't realize is, there's, the 9 million people that got into this country who, let's just say amongst them, 90% of people have found a job. Let's just say that. Random statistic. Let's just make that up. Not 90% more people of that 9 million, let's say 7 million, 8 million people have a job. Now those people make a living. Those people are now spending money into the economy that could be growing the GDP, right? Like that's billions of dollars monthly.
So then how does a recession happen?
The average, because there's all this new influx of money coming in, but there was all these people that did lose their job that aren't able to find jobs. We know that the white collar jobs
they're predicting a worker shortage. That's what I read today.
In what?
Like just a national worker shortage because there aren't enough people to fill the jobs that are necessary.
So I agree on the labor intensive workforce. I stay in a lot of hotels. So many hotels I've stayed in the last couple of months. You know how the room has to be ready by 4 p.m., 5 p.m., or 3 p.m., I think is the normal check-in time, 3 to 4 p.m. I usually show up at these places at 7 in the morning, taking a red eye or whatever. I never have my room. I never even bother checking in. I'll leave my bag and just be gone. The other day, 2 times in a week, at 3 and 4 p.m., my room was not ready. And they said they did not have people to clean the rooms.
Did they compensate you for that?
Nothing.
Because isn't it guaranteed?
Yeah. Instead, they were fighting with everyone. Literally, guest after guest was fucking furious.
This is in what city?
New York City. One was New York and one was... forget where I was. Somewhere else. And I couldn't believe the number of folks that were sitting there fighting with so I believe there's a labor shortage.
So
on the
even last week we had friends that were in New Jersey and Charlotte, and both of their flights were canceled for multiple days because of a pilot shortage.
Yeah, that's insane. Pilot shortage is scary. Yeah, well, so we'll have to see. And I think there's other data points that are saying the economy is struggling. So Airbnb, which has been the darling of the last couple of years, reported earnings and it was bad. And it was not bad because of the last 3 months in the quarter. It was bad because of what they're predicting. They're probably a really good indication because vacations are booked further out.
I also think they were a benefit of the COVID boom from the work from home.
I know, but it's been 2 years. The COVID boom was over 2 years ago.
But people still are slowly getting told to get back into the office. So you can't do the 2 weeks in Salt Lake City or whatever, Idaho, and these places. And I think that's probably more of an indicator rather than a slowing economy, because travel on the airline side isn't slowing at all.
It isn't, but you are seeing dips in prices. You are seeing travel prices, airline prices have dipped a little.
Yeah.
As someone that books a lot of travel, like I'm seeing cheaper prices across the board. I'm not seeing the same prices I saw 6 months ago. And Airbnb is basically saying that their customer is also probably folks that stay longer period than a hotel stayer, right? Like, do you book an Airbnb if you're going for a night somewhere? Probably not. Like, I think if you do one night, you probably just get a hotel. Mm-hmm. But I think if you're doing 2, 3, 4, 5 nights, and what's interesting is where you can easily draw that this data makes sense and it's not an Airbnb issue is that the parks at Disney are also soft.
Yeah, that was shocking. I saw that.
So, and so when you see that is, to me, that's recessionary, because we know that it doesn't, like, I believe in there's like woke boycott stuff that I don't think Disney gets affected too much. I do believe grandma, grandpa, if they're really conservative, they're not going to Disneyland. I truly believe that Disney is just a victim of the costs being too high, and their core customer just doesn't have the cash that they used to. Like, I do believe that Disney parks is an incredible example of someone that is a indication of the healthy economy. Because Disneyland's like a must-have. It's not a nice-to-have. It is a must-have in America.
Did they outline the traffic numbers? Or are they just lowering prices?
They just said...
Because I was trying to read that and I didn't see anything. I just saw Disney soft parks.
Yeah. I think what they're seeing is, this is what, on their call, they said the lower income consumer is feeling a little bit of stress. The high income consumer is traveling internationally. So that was their call out. And so, that's a pretty big kind of shift in where we were a year ago, where they felt the parks business was on fire a year ago. And I think we are, anecdotally, we see that and I believe that too. Like, if you have money, going to Europe it's the same price as staying in America and going to, like, I wanted to go, check this out. I wanted to go to OC for the weekend, like go to a hotel and pool and do all that. So I checked all the nice hotels. Guess how much an average at any of the Pelican Hills, the Montage Lagunas, guess how much a night was?
Are you saying it's more expensive?
Just tell me what you think it is.
Well, I mean, typically I would guess like $1,200 a night.
I think it's $1,800.
That hasn't come down.
No, it went up. Because that's the high end consumer.
Because Rosewood's still $2,500, right?
Yeah. The high end consumer clearly, and which is on par with what Disney is saying. It's the low end consumer who is stretching to go to Disney can't do it anymore. So they're shifting their behavior. But the high end consumer, look, put it like this: if you're going to go spend $2,000 a night, because after tax and plus, and let's just say 2 nights you want to spend the weekend at Montage Laguna, that's like $5,000-$6,000.
Yeah, because a grilled cheese is like $25.
$35.
Yeah,
right. Plus tax and tip. Lunch is $200.
Water's $10.
Yeah, you should go to Europe.
But I think
for 10 grand, you could spend a week in Europe. A week. Or you could spend 2 nights in Montage.
Would you want to drag 2 kids to Europe? Or would you rather just be easy and just go hotel and throw them in the pool?
Yeah, but like maybe I would just go to a cheaper area. I mean, it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the barrier is not no one, there's plenty of kids in the freaking airport, but plenty of people are like, I'd rather just drive an hour and make it easy. Mom and dad are sipping margaritas, kids just throwing shit in the pool.
Yeah.
And you got to relax.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe the prices. But someone who is bucking the trend, Revolve. Revolve stock was soaring yesterday. I think it was up like 25%.
32.
30% at the end?
Yeah.
Wow. Because they reported revenue up, profits up. They beat on revenue of $282 million. They beat on earnings. They gross margin stayed at 54%. EBITDA margin was up. Free cash flow was up. Their business is doing incredibly well in this climate. So many other retailers that I follow have all reported decline in sales, decline in gross profit margin. So this is just like pure operational execution, because the growth in sales, no one's experiencing it. So the fact that they got any was incredible. Yep. And then I think more importantly is the discipline on spending, discipline on discounting, which got them to this kind of really, really stable place. And they got rewarded. Stocks way up, and they're in a very unique position to grab market share now, because there's going to continue to be bankruptcies. And then I also do think the market as a consumer is getting more bifurcated with low end and high end. And they tend to cater towards kind of the upper end of the consumer. And the low end consumer, they're going to Shein and Temu.
Yeah.
Right. That's where they're going. And it's really, really hard to compete with them on the internet. So the fact that they have branded goods, like brands become more and more important now in this Shein world. Like if you're not a brand, why would anyone shop from you?
Yeah, I think basically Shein and Temu have eliminated the private label market.
Yeah.
At like a Macy's or
why would you want that when you can get Shein?
Because they're non-branded.
Yeah.
So private label means it's just a blank or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, you either are a brand or you're really, really cheap.
Yeah, and there's really cheap is,
$5 skirts.
Yes, $8 jeans. That's the price you have to be. How funny was the medal? There was two women. I forgot what European country they were in, maybe Denmark. They were on the medal stage, and there was a Chinese girl next, and the two European women were biting the gold and silver, and then the Chinese looked and just copies and bites, and then I was like, "This is the team of Shein of medals."
Yeah, there were a lot of memes on that.
Yeah, I mean,
poor girl.
What?
She didn't know what to do.
But that, to me, that's a cultural issue, right? Like the country has thrived off of mimicking. And so she has not been brought up.
Oh, we're up 5.
Okay.
I'm watching this game.
Okay. So they won.
There's still 2 minutes left.
You can watch on YouTube TV and rewind and pause it. But I think the interesting thing is really around the fact that you see that instinct is such a very difficult thing culturally for her to overcome, is that you've always been told the West is the West. You have to, they know how to do things the right way. So you see it and you're happy and you're like, oh, fuck it, I'll copy them.
Yeah. No, the extrapolating point is basically all these Chinese companies have just copied American companies and done it better.
Yeah.
TikTok, Shein, Temu. Yeah. Specifically.
Yeah. Those 3. And so, they're biting the metal too. What?
Shein, TikTok, and Temu.
Yeah, their metal is not real metal though. It's like, like a plastic one. That's the only difference. But yeah, I mean, congrats to the entire Revolve squad. Huge win. So one of the things I was thinking through, because I was reading, I've been reading all the fast food and restaurant earnings reports, and across the board, the data is showing that inflation has been causing slowdown in spend, in all of these restaurants. The one interesting thing that we saw last year being mentioned by 1 or 2 retailers, like I think Walmart mentioned once, and I think CVS or one of those people mentioned once, the impact Ozempic is having on their food business. And I think Walmart was the first to mention that we are seeing in the snack section a change in behavior. I can't imagine that Mounjaro and whatever the hell it's called and Ozempic and Wegovy are not having an impact on all these restaurants. There's nearly 20 million people on this stuff. And think about it. 90% of those 20 million were truly obese, right? These are people that overate and were probably overeating at these types of places, eating snacks, sodas, fast food. When you look at that data of like who is the core consumer of this, low income, you take inflation and sure that affects a piece of it, but think about it like this. Those 20 million people who are on Ozempic or on one of these GLP-1 drugs, how much money do you think they're spending less a week on food? How much money? $10?
I'd say like 15% fewer.
$15? Give me a dollar amount.
Dollar amount. That's tough to say because you have rich people on Ozempic and you have poor people on Ozempic.
Okay, so let's just put an average. $10? $20?
I mean, if you're a wealthy, you go to restaurants, you're probably spending $100 less a week.
Okay, so let's just get, because there's low income people.
Yeah, so
20?
So I would say the median is probably $30.
Okay, let's do that. 20 million people, $30. $600 million a week.
Yeah. But they're all also statistics that
that's 30 billion a year.
People roll off these drugs after 3-4 months.
Okay, but like,
so like
at any given time, but that's not the point. They can roll off. Who cares?
But if you keep the 20 million, yes.
Let's say the number of people on it consistent.
At any time.
It's 20 million and they're all spending $30 each. It's $30 billion a year gone from food.
But then I think it's just a flight to the most popular restaurants. So Chick-fil-A, I think, won't struggle. In-N-Out's not going to struggle.
Well,
but like a Wendy's might.
Enough. What?
A Wendy's might.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you look at the size of $30 billion annually being sucked out of the food market,
yeah,
that's a lot.
No, it is. And
I bet you it's way more. I think we're being very conservative.
I would assume groceries get affected the most because they're single-digit margin businesses. Mm-hmm. And if the snack aisle is 10% lower,
yeah,
you go from profitable to not profitable.
Yeah.
And then gas stations,
yeah,
they make all their money in the food and beverage.
Yeah.
They don't make money on the gas. They make pennies on the gas.
Yeah. They
want you to come in and get those Doritos, the Coke,
yep,
you know, the sour candy or whatever. And it is definitely going to impact those markets, I think, more because restaurants are still an experience. So
I mean, like even Monster, the growth at Monster is kind of slowing. Celsius,
beverage market is so saturated.
Yeah, but like those
you
brands
can only have that many beverages, right?
Yeah,
like Olipop's on fire,
but that's low sugar, right?
Yep.
But it's tiny. Just $1 million. You're talking about these are $10 billion companies. So yeah, well, can people still grow in those markets? And by the way, we just saw this. Chick-fil-A is not even number one anymore. Del Taco is the number one fast food restaurant in America right now.
But there's so many more Del Tacos than Chick-fil-A.
Is it by unit or total revenue?
I think it's total revenue. And by square foot, I bet you Chick-fil-A still.
Let's see. After nearly a decade on top, Chick-fil-A has dropped to number 3. Okay. Oh, this is a survey.
And that's just preference, right?
Yeah. USA Today's annual reader rank survey. That also tells you a demographic shift, right? Like, there's more. I mean, if you just came over, are you going to Chick-fil-A or are you going to go to Del Taco? You try to eat some more home-cooked food.
But Chick-fil-A is a religious brand, and a lot of people that have immigrated are generally religious people.
But they may not like a fried chicken sandwich. They might need to start opening on Sundays.
They won't do that.
You never know. Very interesting. But with all that to be said, Eli Lilly blows past estimates, hiked its full year revenue outlook by $3 billion. This company is just shitting cash. It is just absolutely on fire. Like the amount of money this thing is making. And like, I know people are not optimistic on like, you know, the impact of all these drugs on people. I don't see how this is slowing down anytime in the near future. Like,
I guess the only issue would be generics. And when, because like you go to a pharmacy, there's Claritin and then there's a Claritin knockoff.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much for every therapeutic.
Yep.
So the generics are going to be on the way.
Mounjaro did $3 billion of revenue last quarter. $3 billion.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's what Charles Barkley's on.
Analysts expected 2.4.
You know what these drugs are getting the free advertising on is like, you have these like super famous people like Charles Barkley. They're like, you look great. How did you lose so much weight? Because I think he lost like 50 pounds. And he's like, Mounjaro. And
why do you think that's just organically happening? You know, do you remember the quiz show? They were rigging game shows to sell pharmaceuticals 100 years ago. You don't think they're doing it now?
Do you think Barkley got a check?
Fuck yeah. I think everyone gets a check. Why would you leave it to chance when you make $3 billion a quarter? What do you need
I don't think they're leaving it to chance. I think people just like discovered it.
No,
and
I don't.
So you think it's rigged?
Yes, of course. Pharmaceutical companies are the best marketers. They're the largest TV advertisers in the world are pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, I know that.
So why wouldn't they just
No, not in the world. They're only allowed to advertise in America and New Zealand.
Okay,
Two
so in
countries.
America, and I bet you the spend is more than the whole world combined.
Maybe.
Just think about it. Like the market is America to sell
I
this shit.
haven't actually seen Ozempic ads and Mounjaro ads. Have you?
Yeah. Talk to your doctor about, do you have diabetes?
But they're selling diabetes drugs. They have too many drugs to sell.
There's enough TV. Do you know how much Olympics are on morning and night? Everyone's sitting there. The memes of, people just like fat slobs on their couch and be like, I could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think they're doing? That's what everyone's doing at home. And then you're like, I should take some Ozempic.
Yeah, probably.
I think people don't appreciate how big the market is. And I was walking through the Arkansas airport. You could triple the 20 million to 60 million a year on the drugs. And I don't think you've penetrated fucking half the market.
Yeah, I think if you just think about obesity is massively on the rise in China. And I know it's slowly getting there because we import. It's funny how American companies work. We made the Chinese population fat with KFC, with all these different chains.
I was thinking about what is our Shein and Temu, and it's fucking KFC, Taco Bell,
and then now we're
Pizza
gonna
Hut.
make money on the pharmaceuticals.
Yes, you know what? This is why we played the long game too. They poisoned our mind. We poisoned them.
Yeah, they have massive obesity problems.
Yes,
and now we're gonna,
What if that was the long ploy of CIA all the time? He goes, how are we gonna attack China? Oh, they're just gonna explode. We're gonna feed them with pizza and chicken till they explode.
They exploded.
Yeah,
and now we're gonna give them the drugs.
Yeah,
and get them hooked.
Yeah. They'll copy the drug at least.
They will, but like you said, they want the West drugs.
Yeah, I mean,
that girl that's biting the metal,
she doesn't want the Shein of Ozempic. She wants she wants Ozempic.
Yeah, I think they're gonna make $1 trillion in China.
Yeah, and the Middle East.
Middle East needs it.
Middle East. Holy shit.
They definitely like to indulge in the Middle East.
Yeah, because they don't drink alcohol, so they substitute it with ice cream.
And sweets.
Yes.
And croissants.
I was with some people in the Middle East recently, and he was telling me, bigger guy, he was like, I eat fast food twice a day. Twice a day. And then he's eating 4 or 5 meals a day.
And hookah's a big part of their culture. And then they're smoking all day.
That's appetite suppressant. So then you get a little hungry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big population.
Yeah, literally. All right. So Eli Lilly then is like, this company is just all of them, Novartis, the whole group just feels like, I mean, dude, Eli Lilly was such an obvious trade.
I mean, I know a lot of people on this pod that have made money off it other than us.
August 8, 2022, exactly 2 years ago, the stock was trading at 300. It's $845 right now.
Yeah.
It's damn near 3x'd in 2 years. It's $760 billion company. Why can't that be a $3 trillion company? It should be.
It will be. It's going to go up.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
There's very little headwinds for any of these pharmaceutical companies because they have the brand.
Yep.
They have the product. And like we said, everyone wants the Western drugs.
Yep.
You just can't advertise in those countries. That's the problem.
I don't know if it matters because you could just go on TikTok.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, every clip is talking about this all the time. We've talked a lot about inflation, and there's more data that came out yesterday from the Pew Research Center on where inflation has hit Americans the hardest. And it really looks like it's eggs, gasoline, and insurance. Which prices have fallen most since 2020? Number one is margarine is up 56%. Frozen non-carbonated juices and drinks up 50%. Fats and oils, including peanut butter, 48%. Motor vehicle repairs up 47%. Motor vehicle insurance is up 47%. Crackers, bread, and cracker products up 46%. This is bananas. The 10 lowest things that have declined. Men's suits are down 6%. Obviously, they don't go to office. Yeah. Toys are down 7%. Dishes are down 10%. The biggest, smartphones down 53%. Televisions down 22%. They're claiming health insurance is down 16%. That's nonsense. I don't know where, unless people.
So if you don't believe that number, then you can't believe the rest of the ones you just listed.
I believe the food. I don't believe the insurance. I don't think any insurance has gone down. I think here's what I have noticed: less and less people have health insurance.
You think so?
I know so. I know many people are freeballing it. It's too expensive.
It is expensive. There's no question.
You have health insurance, Josh? No. Ollie, you have health insurance? Okay, you do.
I'll give an anecdotal story. So someone we know, she works at Vaughn's, packing shelves, and on the floor. Her hours got cut last week. So that's just an anecdotal. Like the grocery store is like, we don't need as many people because fewer people are shopping.
Yeah, because Ozempic. I think the grocery thing is Ozempic. I don't think that's inflation. I think.
Groceries are insanely expensive now.
They are definitely expensive. I don't know.
I wonder if it affects Whole Foods, Bristol Farms. It doesn't affect Erewhon. Every Erewhon I drive by, it's just slammed.
You could see the cart size going down. That's the big. If you talk to a high-end restaurant, their average ticket is down. Like people are still coming every night, but instead of spending $1,000 and ordering two bottles,
just get the cheaper bottle of wine.
Yes, and so your average ticket goes down dramatically.
Yeah, it's definitely the most confusing economy that we've seen in our adulthood because it's normally just one way or the other. Like meaning everything's either great or everything's terrible. Yeah. And here it's like pick and choose what you want to look at, and you can find bright spots and you can find low spots. And I don't know how what that means for the larger economy. We've been talking about this for the last 3 years. Like none of it makes any sense. Yeah. Like in theory, you would think everything should be falling off a cliff, but nothing is. And unemployment continues to go down.
Yeah. No, unemployment.
There's a half a point. Sure.
Half a point is a lot. And that is the key indicator of a recession.
But like in 2008, it was like 8-9% unemployment. You're talking double.
We could get there. I wouldn't be surprised if we're at 5% by the end of the year. Easy. That's a huge jump.
It is a huge jump. But then why are they saying there's a worker shortage? So none of it makes sense. Is my point.
I think there's a worker shortage on the low income side of labor driven work. Like I don't think people want to clean bathrooms and toilets anymore.
Sure.
Like there are pockets of the workforce that no one wants to do those jobs anymore. And that's where illegal immigration actually helps. That's where the benefit of that is. But then there's actual places where there's just automation coming into play and you just don't need those people anymore. Like you're seeing more self-serve kiosks wherever you go. Like I was at a Taco Bell the other day. It was fucking self-serve. Yeah. You just press the pop, 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 and then done.
I mean, many of the fast food.
Yeah, I mean, in Bentonville, I can't tell you how many kiosk robotic coffee shops there are. Literally. Right. One arm making a cup of coffee and serving you coffee. Not even a human being in the space to even make the coffee. So I think we're still like very early in the stage of like the shift of the workforce. So I'm curious to see how it plays out.
But all the experts have been predicting a recession for 3 straight years. I just don't know what's changed.
We just keep printing money. We keep U.S. government keeps adding liquidity. Eventually, we're going to have to stop doing that. As long as we keep pumping liquidity into the market, everyone knows it's like a joke when you leave the country. Why is it in America? You guys just print money. And
Well, you're talking about because they actually haven't. There's
other ways to get liquidity. No, there's other ways to create liquidity in the market. They were buying treasuries the last 6 fucking months. That Department of Treasury was out in the market buying treasuries. I mean, you saw the statistic. Warren Buffett owns more treasury bills than the U.S. government does. We're just issuing debt at a very, very high clip. We have record debt.
Yeah, we do have record debt.
Every month it's bigger and bigger. There's no one is making any effort to actually cut expenses.
There's two camps to this. It's basically, you have like really smart people that say the country's bankrupt, which you can make an argument for.
Yeah.
And then you have other really smart people that say it doesn't matter because this is the only place to invest.
Yeah.
Owning a U.S. Treasury bill is, regardless of the yield, is the safest place in the world.
Yeah. I think that as long as
would you want money in Venezuela?
I wouldn't want money in Japan.
Japan?
No. I finally understand the carry trade.
I understand it too. I've read a lot about it.
So you could just it was just low interest money and everyone was taking debt from Japan and investing it in the US market. And that's why they were connected.
And the other piece was a lot of hedge funds were short the yen because the yen's just been falling against the US dollar. And then the moment they raised their interest rates a quarter point, everyone had to cover their shorts.
But that wasn't the carry trade. The carry trade was because basically money was free
Yes, you
in
borrow
Japan.
you borrow free money from Japan,
put
you
it in the American market,
treasury markets, stock market, whatever. But then on top of that, what happened was you had so many people short the yen, and when you raise interest rates in any current currency, the currency becomes more valuable. And there was a massive sell-off in the American stock market because so many funds were short and they had to cover their short positions, which I think is why the market tanked.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of both those things. Like, I think we'll have to see how it plays out in the next, I don't know, couple weeks. Cause
what's Japan doing? They're the only ones that raise rates.
Well, they had 0. They went to a quarter point.
Yeah.
Why do you have 0? They've had stagflation.
I'd like 0 rates.
Yeah, but look at the country. The country's had no economic growth.
They have population problems. They have
all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
The place is fucked. Go enjoy it for what it is.
Enjoy for tourism.
Yeah, tourism. They basically, they don't have immigration. They're screwed. And they're not going to have immigration.
I mean, SoftBank doesn't even invest in Japan.
Yeah. Why would they?
They're based there.
So? Maybe he likes sushi. Is he Korean?
He is. Mayoshi's son.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's just hanging out there. He just likes it. All right, let's move on. Winners, losers, content. Who's your winner of the week?
My winner is the white kid at the Harris campaign rally in Atlanta. Did you see it?
No.
He went viral. He, Not Like Us came on and he hit every lyric. And it's like a white guy that you wouldn't think would know everything. He had dance moves to everything. And so he went viral on the internet. But then the Harris campaign found him because everyone was like, everyone's got to find this guy.
Yeah.
So apparently he runs the Young Democrats of Atlanta organization. And the kid is like extremely articulate. He's very smart. He explains very clearly why he's a Democrat because his dad passed. He was stuck with medical debt, all these different reasons. And it's like great to see the dichotomy. Like if you saw him, you would just think he's like an internet star.
Yeah. Because
he was just dancing. He knew every word to like a famous song.
Yeah.
But then he was able to articulate himself of why he was there, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's great. My winner is all the folks that won medals at the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. I love the Olympics. I think it's awesome. I love anything where like countries fight. Like Olympics, World Cup, Copa Cup, Euros, anything where there's like, World War II, like whatever. Like I like the patriotism of each of these kind of things. It just shows that like people fucking care, which is cool.
I mean, I think you just see the emotion of athletes. Like when Team USA just beat Serbia, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You see LeBron and Steph, who are like billionaires, care so much about winning.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it matters. The Olympics matter. And I think it showed that, there is incredible, I think it's like continues to be an incredible marketing opportunity at the Olympics. And I don't know what brand, if anyone, won this year. Like, I don't know who the clear winner. Like Nike had a nice campaign, but they get blowback because it's not, like I see continued blowback from their campaign. Am I a bad person, or winning isn't for everyone? I think it's the best campaign they've done in 20 fucking years.
Did you see the one with KD and Deion Sanders narrating over it?
I just read there was a campaign. I've not watched it.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yeah. So like that I felt like Nike
they're going alpha.
Yeah, they have to. You have to.
I mean, sports is all alpha. It's sad that it even got to the point where it wasn't alpha.
No, here's the thing. The best brands in the world are not inclusive at all.
I don't even think about inclusive. I think when you come to sports is winning and losing.
Chanel, Hermes, and Louis Vuitton do not want you in their fucking store.
They do not.
They don't want you to buy anything. They want you to fuck off.
Yeah.
Karl Lagerfeld and Coco Chanel. Go read about what they think about what beauty is. It ain't you. It ain't. They have a view of the world and they've always stuck by it. And they've driven more consumption as shitting on their core customers. And I think that's ultimately what consumers want. Consumers want to be told you are not that.
Yeah.
They will buy more if you tell them no. Hermes, can I buy this? No, get the fuck out. I want it more.
Yeah, and the richest people get told no.
That's my point. Nike has to double, triple down and say, no, you know what? Get on Ozempic if you want to be wearing Nike.
I think Team USA winning, if they had lost today, it would have been really bad for Nike because they ran so many commercials around all these stars.
They gotta make a phone call, break this guy's leg or something.
Maybe Nike called the refs because they were down 18 points.
Yeah.
And they won by 4 or 3 or something.
All right, loser.
I don't have a loser. I think I've been positive just watching the Olympics and seeing people who've dedicated their whole lives to, like what you were just saying, to their craft, and they get this one moment to perform, and you see so many great feats and world records broken, and it's just been a positive week just to see and watch from afar.
Yep. That's good. I have a loser. Tim Waltz.
Why?
Josh Shapiro was a better candidate. 100% a better candidate. He is so much more inspiring as a speaker.
I don't know. Tim Waltz, he's been giving some pretty electric speeches.
I think like JD Vance turned out to be a weak pick. I think Tim Waltz is a weak pick. They both are weak ass picks for vice president. But the thing is, Harris had a strong pick in Josh Shapiro. Tim Waltz, this guy is going to get exposed and fuck her momentum up. I mean,
he does speak to the middle class of America. So I think that's his big benefit because they went through everything. He owns no stocks, no bonds. He's not Pelosi.
Yeah. He's more low income than who don't vote.
And he's just more relatable in some of these states. So I think it was look, to be clear, it's not like I followed Tim Waltz or Josh Shapiro's career.
But even just a few weeks, what I've seen, Josh Shapiro was more inspiring candidate.
Possibly.
I was shocked they did not pick him. To me, that just stinks of anti-Semitism potentially in the decision-making process of why they did not go that way.
Potentially. I mean, look.
Because it doesn't make sense why you had a better candidate and you didn't pick him. Especially in a state you need to win.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But it is dead heat now.
Yeah. I mean, she has to get a bump. First week. It's like 10 days in.
But we were like 3 weeks ago, Democrats had zero chance under sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, last week, people were calling for a 75 basis point emergency rate cut. Momentum changes quick. If Team USA loses, you're saying American kids should give up playing sports.
They should give up basketball.
Yeah, I think they should give up basketball. There's other sports we're better at.
We need to push soccer.
Or football.
Yeah, NFL is fine.
All right, content. Incredible podcast this last week. Joe Rogan and a German author named Norman Ohler, I believe his name is. Okay.
And he's written books about World War I, World War II, Nazi Germany. And the Nazis were using, there was a Switzerland scientist that basically created LSD in the 30s. And the Nazis were using LSD for their soldiers because it creates a lucid brain.
So you could tell them to do whatever they want.
And they just think clear.
Okay.
And the CIA found out the Nazis were using it and created the war on drugs because they're like, we don't want to do what the Nazis are doing.
Yeah.
So it basically shifted back medical research like 60 years because we didn't want to do what the Nazis are doing.
Yeah.
And now there's so many studies that are actually happening at research universities, including UCLA.
Yeah.
That LSD and psychedelic shrooms, in addition, create a solution to neuroinflammatory, which causes Alzheimer's, Parkinson's,
I believe that,
seizures, and all these different things. And it's just crazy how, we just didn't want to do it because they did it, which, is probably very political at the time.
Yeah.
But now it's being used in America for all these rare disorders.
Yeah. I mean, we're slow to respond, but we get around.
Yeah. I mean, it's to the point where we're actively talking to doctors right now because of this freaking podcast.
Yeah. See, Joe Rogan, right-wing podcast.
The other crazy thing is, it's not a right-wing podcast by any means.
You go tell everyone you know that's what you listen to. They'll view you as a right-wing person.
Yeah, and I'm telling them they're wrong.
As long as you make sure you keep. I want you to every dinner when someone asks, "What do you like to do?"
I tell everyone. They say, "What podcast?" I say Joe Rogan.
Okay.
I get some weird looks.
Yeah.
Especially in LA.
Yeah, of course.
Anyways, the other crazy thing, which the Nazis gave meth to all their soldiers to basically, it does two things. You stay up all night.
Yep.
And you lose fear. And they took over France and Soviet Union because these soldiers were just nuts.
Yeah.
And they just ran through these people.
I mean, the guy was a master manipulator. He was a crazy psychopath.
And then the last thing, because I know most people aren't going to listen to 3 hours of this stuff. Hitler basically got addicted to cocaine. And it kind of leaked to the British army that this guy's kind of become a drug addict. He started using all these different drugs, and they had a chance to replace him with another guy. Germany did, but they were like, let's just let this guy unravel till we can just beat him. It's kind of, history's crazy.
Well, yeah, what people are willing to do is fucking wild. My content is much different. Cobra Kai is back. Okay. Unbelievable show. It's definitely my favorite Netflix show ever. Best piece of content they've ever put out.
Who's the star?
The same guys from Karate Kid 30 years ago.
Oh, so there's old now.
Ralph Macchio.
So the same kid?
Johnny Lawrence.
The same kid who did the leg?
both. And the guy kicked. They're the co-stars. It is made for 40-something-year-old males.
Yeah,
that is who that show is made for. And everyone who grew up watching that show, I mean, we grew up off of Reseda. They're still in Reseda doing karate. It's amazing content. And the entire original cast of characters, except Miyagi, is on the show. Mm-hmm. All of them from fucking 40 years ago, or however many years that movie was. It's so good.
That's great. I got to check it out. What season is it? 3?
I think 4. All right, shout outs. First one, what's up, crew? It's your number one Kathy Menace. over here at iHeartRadio. Absolutely love the pod. Hope you realize the top tier content that you bring every week. The arguments are my absolute favorite. Keep up the good work. I'm reaching out because I need your help. I've been asked to do a press event with some pro golfers and hang out with them at the course. I don't know what to wear that day. Clothing, shoes. Can you please name some hot brands so I don't look like a jackass? P.S. Anand, I'm happy your son is doing well. Menace. So Menace is a huge radio guy out here in LA. Got a national syndicated show. So got to make sure you're looking good. The two brands that I like visually are Malbon Golf.
Yeah.
Bogey Boys, which is Macklemore's brand. It's really fun. It's eccentric looking clothes. Those are two brands that when I see kids wearing them, I was like, oh, those are cool. Those are fun.
Those are fun for sure. If you want to go down the middle, like down the fairway for a golf analogy, Nike Golf's pretty good.
Yeah, but
you're not going to like stick out.
Yeah.
And you're not going to look bad.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, oh, yeah. He's,
Travis Matthews.
yeah, sure.
People wear that a lot. The next one.
You got to wear a hat, though.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
all about a
must.
hat. From Nick. Wanted to shout out this pod and the guys. I've always dreamed of living out west. This pod has kept that dream alive for a while on the East Coast. Keep the bubble talk around. Our pleasure, Nick. Hopefully you'll make it out west. Oh, wait. I can officially say I've signed an offer for a job in LA with relocation for my wife and I.
Wow.
Okay. Nick, I didn't read the rest of the shout out. Congrats. We'll come by and say hi. From Brad. Shout the fuck out to Alice Gray and GCP. I was lucky enough to win a free pair and they're on the way. Appreciate y'all and much love from Tennessee. All right, Brad, enjoy the shoes. Lastly, from Dave in Michigan. Shout out to my cousin Matt from New York, now living in Florida. We're the same age and have been close our entire lives. We're both avid listeners of the pod and it keeps us connected. I just wanted to give a shout out to my day one. You're a real one and I'm so proud of you. All right.
Nice. Very positive.
Yeah. Everyone's doing well, up and up. Now that we know that the world is not falling apart, people feeling good.
Is Menace going to invite drama to his golf event?
I wonder.
Maybe if he showed up today.
Yeah, maybe. All right, Cathy's. Have an incredible weekend. Stay cool. It is hot out there. And we'll see you back here on Sunday.